Hello there, and thanks for joining us on today's edition of the program on your Pan-African Media TV with me, Frida Egbeson. Today is Friday, the 17th of October 2025, and it is with renewed delight that I come each day to bring you fresh updates on what is making news around the world as reported by newspaper headlines. So stay tuned, don't go away, for we shall be right back just after the transition. Welcome back, beautiful viewers. If you are just tuning in, you are live on Pan-African Media TV, and the program on air is well in print with me, Frida Egbeson. I was saying that today is Friday, the 17th of October 2025, and we are delighted to bring you a fresh update on what is making news around the world as recounted by newspaper headlines. On today's edition of the program, I will be joined on set by a human rights defender who has graced our studio this morning to give us analysis on what is making news around the world, Ms. Atante Madu. But before that, up next is our weekly press review, taking us with our first flight, taking us to the United States of America with the Washington Post. This morning, the Washington Post newspaper is carrying as major caption, Trump authorizes covert CIA action in Venezuela. While Mercury News headlines, work brings pain and gain. While this other story says voting rights changes looming. The Minnesota Star Tribune on its part this morning carries as caption, Trump okays CIA action in Venezuela. From the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, we move over to the United Kingdom with Financial Times newspaper. This morning, Financial Times is carrying as major caption, China hits out at a smear campaign as war deepens over collapse spy case. The Morning Star on its part captions, disgrace of 172,000 kids in as to 172,000 kids languishing without homes, while while Manchester Evening News report that hundreds of affordable homes are on the way. Away from there, we move over from the United Kingdom, we move over to the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the Punch newspaper. This morning, the Punch is carrying as major caption, Hurricane Tinubu, mass defection ignite one-party state fears. And from Nigeria, we cross over to neighboring Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen, with the Champion newspaper. The Champion newspaper this morning is captioning ahead of proclamation of October 12 polls. Results, CPDM hyper-rigging machinery for decades exposed. The report says that proclamation of results without doctoring will not set Cameroon on fire. Prominent CPDM supporter in Ginicom, Maurice Tiban Kube, says CPDM fabricated results, claiming 2,241 voted Bia, while less than 130 voted. He described it as a mathematical miracle of fraud. From that, ladies and gentlemen, we move over to the Guardian Post this morning. The Guardian Post carries as caption, October 12 polls, 11 petition at Constitutional Council. The Voice on its part reads October 12 presidential, awaiting the official verdict on Savory. The men of pops up nationwide. Mincom orders prescribe restraint. Atanganji threatens Chiroma. Atanganji threatens Chiroma restraints. While the Post, which is the last newspaper we are going to look at today, carries as caption, the Post Weekender. Today's caption, in post-election crisis seared in Cameroon as Chiroma claims victory at Tanganji backs threat. This other story says Minsante announces 5 COVID-19 cases as nation anxiously awaits election results. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we saw it on our newspaper scouting for today's edition. Stay tuned, for we shall come back for the second part to analyze the most catchy news items just after the transition. haven't missed out on anything, you are live on Pan African Media TV, and the program on air is well in print with your lady Frida Egbeson. This is your bi-weekly informative and educative program that comes up every Monday and Friday. Today is our last broadcast for the week, and I'm so delighted to have an intelligent gentleman in the house who is so upright and focused, and of course he is a human rights defender. It's no one else but Mr. Mazu Tante. He is the executive secretary of Conscience African. You're welcome to the house, sir.
Thank you for your invitation. I'm delighted to join you on this newborn baby. TV is a new so that we'll discuss on issues of Cameroon and on the world, and so that we'll share ideas on the pertinent issues that is happening within our country, and pray for and give a suggestion or opinions on the way forward, on what we think should be done to make our country to move forward, not to draw it back again.
Yes, I'm so delighted to have you, and so is the entire team of Pan African Media TV delighted to have you this morning. But before we go talking newspaper and what is making news, may we know a bit? I know that your Conscience African is a human rights organ. Can you please tell us a bit about your work, please?
Okay, thank you once more, madam. Conscience African is a non-governmental organization. This is an association that has been working. But we are much more focused now since 2017. We are much more focused in working on monitoring, documentation, and denouncing cases of human rights violation and abuses that currently still being perpetrated in the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon, either by the defense and security forces or by separatist armed group. So we carry out advocacy program. We denounce the injustice. We monitor, document, and report on cases of human rights violations. And we have so many cases that are still ongoing on the ground. Especially the most important case that is still current about the 9 unarmed civilians who are currently being detained at the Bamenda Central Prison, who were arrested in Babesing in the Ngokria division of Northwest region of Cameroon, including 2 months and a 3-month-old baby since the 26th of June. And up to date, they were transferred to Bamenda and are currently in the Central Prison. So we have been doing everything possible to ensure that the government should release these people, because we think that they are still the detention is not necessary, because we know that criminal responsibility now in Cameroon is a state of law, and criminal responsibility is personal. So nobody should suffer for the crime of another person. It's not because I have a child that is a separatist that has committed a crime that I should go in for the crime. So the worst of all is the newborn babies. Newborn babies are suffering, who are ignorant of everything. They are suffering for the crimes that have been committed by their parents. So that's why we keep on calling on the government of Cameroon to look into the situation. Meanwhile, we have been advocating for the government and partners to do everything possible to ensure that we have a peaceful and a sincere dialogue, to ensure that we have a lasting solution to what is going on in northwest and southern region of Cameroon, because of the atrocity. People are being killed virtually all the time. Properties are being destroyed, and just of recent, inhabitants of this part of the country have spent almost 5 weeks indoors. So it's really ridiculous. It's really unacceptable. So when something as so is happening, it's at least not only the individuals in this part of the country are suffering, but the entire economy of Cameroon is at risk, because a lot of things have lost a lot of money, a lot of things that is going on. Because today we don't have so many things that are not going on. It's difficult to see somebody who to pay tax. They are paying tax for one first of all, because they are not even doing their business normally because of the continuous lockdown and all the like, and harassment from the separatists, sometimes even from the defense and security forces. Because let me make something here clear. Based on our work on the field, we realize that the only difference between the separatists and the defense and security forces in the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon now is just the name. So there's just a name, because they are doing almost the same thing. You see a lot of extortion. Separatists are kidnapping people virtually on a daily basis for ransom. Because on this
extremism in the way they handle cases.
Of course, because on this particular case I was talking about in Ndop, these people were arrested when they were arrested in Bamising, and the defense and security upon leaving. There was one elderly person who was going to sell his firewood. The man was arrested along the way and taken to the detention center. And when these people were transferred to Bamenda, about 3 weeks after, they collected a sum of 500,000 francs from the man. The man was they said he was have to give 1 million before he was released. The man never had money. The family members went all around and do everything possible to bring them 500,000. These are confirmed facts. I've spoken with very reliable sources on this issue, so we don't just say things to say it, because we have people on the ground who are giving us reliable information on everything that is happening in this concerning this issue. So it's really unacceptable that the different security forces who are supposed to protect Cameroonians or protect citizens in that part of the country from this separatists, because we know very well that the defense and security forces are legitimate forces that are working to protect the interests of Cameroon, but the separatist fighters, they just have their own imaginary country that they are trying to make it have a name and something like that. But we know that the authority of Cameroon is a state of law, and we have one Cameroon which is very clear, and all those who are fighting for whatsoever they are fighting for they have their own sometimes interest or whatsoever. We need to protect the interest of Cameroon first before any other thing can come after.
Yes, I want to come back to where you say people arrested like a mother paying for the crime of a child. I just want to say here that we are parents. You give birth to a child, you don't give birth to the heart of a child.
Absolutely.
So it's really not normal that they will come and take an old mother to go and be detained because of what the child is doing. They should scout and bring out the child. Please just let the mother go.
This is something that has been having. What is one problem we have with this administration of Cameroon is that our administration or authorities keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. This is what Albert Einstein, a philosopher, once called it a sign of insanity, because it's not normal. Because when you are doing something, if it doesn't give a good result, next time you try to change at least the strategy to see if it will. These same things of arresting mothers, parents, and other a lot of these things have been happening in Northwest and Southwest Cameroon since the ongoing conflict escalated. And they keep arresting people. At the end, they arrest you that want you to force your child to leave the bush. At the end, the child doesn't leave the bush, and the parents now are suffering, or the brothers or sisters, or even the wives are suffering now for the crimes of this people, which is not normal. It's not acceptable in a normal state of things.
Yes, people are on the field since 2017 or 2027.
2018, sorry.
2018. So how has it been? Has it been an easy task? How receptive? At times it can be a very heinous task to be able to access these areas. We consider already they are war zones. Nozo is a war zone. So how do people get through? Has it been an easy task?
Well, the truth is that nothing is easy in life. You don't need courage, resilience, and you need to be very tactful to go about your work, because we have been going through a lot of things, ranging from threats from unknown persons, threat from some who are alleged to be members of the defense and security forces, threat from those who are alleged to be members of separatists, social media harassment, and all that. Because sometimes when you carry out facts on a specific case, maybe the case has been committed, the human rights violation has been committed by the members of the defense and security forces, and we document this case and publish them. Sometimes you have people who come and tap you that you are a separatist, you are a cohort, you are a separatist. That's the same thing the SEO of Ngokutunja told me when I was discussing with him when he had to do with this on armed civilians and the babies who were arrested in Bamsing village in Ngokutunja, in Northwest. The SEO called me a cohort, so he said that we are collaborating with separatists because we now say what the SEO did was, to me, I thought that what the SEO did was he was the one who ordered for the arrest of these people. I thought it was not legal, it was not normal for the SEO to have done so and act. So the SEO called me cohort, and we have been having a lot of threat from right, from and red. But that notwithstanding, these things cannot stop us from doing our work, because I think we have taken an oath to ensure that we work for the voiceless. We are doing everything possible to ensure that those that their voice are for the voice of every Cameroonian to be heard at any different levels. And I think that is our own way to play, because Cameroon is a democratic state, and we cannot talk about democracy without not talking about respect of human rights, because human rights is a very important part of democracy. There's one pillar which is talking about the state of law, and Cameroon is a state of law, and Cameroon should do everything possible to ensure that the different international human rights engagement that they have signed should be respected. So if they are not respected, then we are in a lawless state, which is not normal. So that's why we keep calling on the authority to do these things to ensure that we have peace, or in normalcy returns back in this part of the country, because of what we have been witnessing in Cameroon, in this part, in Northwest and South region of Cameroon.
All right, thank you for shedding light into what concerns African does. So now we are going to analyze what the newspapers carry this morning. We are going to the UK with the first newspaper we shall be looking at this morning is going to be the Morning Star. The Morning Star newspaper, please, if we can have the Morning Star newspaper on the screen. The Morning Star here is carrying a caption that a disgrace of 172,000 kids languishing without a home. This is the UK we're talking about. Apparently, newspapers don't just write because they want to write. You see the number of kids, like homeless kids, like people without home. If we see this from countries we hold in very high esteem, we think that we're Africans and we suffer in our own country. And now we come to country where we look at as role models. What crosses your mind? What goes through your mind to see such a caption?
Well, to be honest with you, what I have in mind is that there is no El Dorado elsewhere. That's the main reason why we have been talking to so many Cameroonians, especially those that are going to use some illegal ways to go forcefully get their way to either European countries or America, and so on and so forth. There's no safe haven on earth. Everywhere there's a problem. There is no country on earth here where there's no problem. We have a problem of everything. So that's the reason. If you have to look about this kid, you realize that majority of them should be children coming from either from Asian or African countries. They should be migrants. So that is what has been happening. So there's no safe haven. The only issue there is that you have to make your own home or your own country to be that heaven that you want it to be. So don't think that they are picking money somewhere. No, there's nothing like that. So whatsoever the case, you have to work in order to have what you want. And when you are working, at least you need to consider what you are working. Give time. We have to give yourself time, because everything in life, after we are working hard, it must take a lot of time for things to materialize. So you don't need to take risks to a certain extent because we want to go to Europe, go to America by all costs. So first thing we have to know is that there is problem everywhere and there are unemployment everywhere. But even though the case of our own country is a call for concern, because our own leaders have exaggerated their own, and we think that at least if things are done in the right way, if you have a good leader now and things are done in the right way, all these things will have to an end. The situation the Cameroonians have been going through for quite a long time now.
All right, and Manchester Evening News comes to bring consolation to what they're saying. Apparently, this situation has been listened to by the powers that be, and Manchester Evening News is telling us this morning that hundreds of affordable homes on the way.
Mm-hmm.
You see, this comes as a sign of relief, right?
Of course.
The issue now is how to go about having a house. How will they just keep their houses, or at times there in the Western world, it's easy for the government to take a child from you and keep safe, and you the parents.
Well, let me say first of all that one of the very important aspect of leadership is to have that listening ear. When you have a leader that has the good listening ear, that listen to people, it means that there's possibility that things will go the right way. And we have this. What I think is excellent with most of these leaders from the Western world is that they are always very active.
They are good listeners.
They are good listeners. They always listen to their people. Whenever something as such comes, they say that they want to provide. They always try to look for solution to that problem. It's not the case in Cameroon where we have leaders that have deaf ears. So we have been crying on so many things on a daily basis and all the like, but little or nothing seems to be done to address some of this issue. Especially when they don't have interest, because our leaders still seem to be working for interest. So that's why it keep making things very, very difficult. So this one, providing them home is a good news. At least from there, the first thing now is to have a home. When you have a home, then you can start struggling. Other things can come after.
Then Mercury News. Mercury News also has a very important what caught my attention. Mercury News is carrying this morning as headline say, work brings pain and gain. Work brings pain and gain. Now it's the reality. It goes for every other country. Work. You expect to work. There's no food for a lazy man. Gone are the days where manna fell from heaven. Now you must work, no matter how difficult it is. Like people, especially who are out there, they work their ass out. People have full-time jobs. They have part-time jobs. The money comes, maybe they don't even have time to spend the money. You feel tired, but you still have to go work. But there is something, in as much as our youth are struggling to see that the work is like people have a mentality to sit on their laurels and be expecting that things manners or God will operate miracles for things to work. What do you have to say in relation to this? Some people do not want to go through the pain part of it. Some people do not want to work, they want to live well.
Yes, that is the first thing in the mentality, and sometimes you think the people have a lot of role to play when it comes to this, because somebody like me, I said I've been working since 2018 what has to do with not Southwest. Most of the things we're doing these things as volunteers. I have been working these things, making a lot of sacrifice to ensure that we make ourselves, sometimes make ourselves a name, or we have to make effort to work is through a very tough condition, either in terms of finance or the security situation and all that. Like, we have to take those risks because sometimes we are passionate about what we are doing, even though at the beginning it's always very difficult because of the either little or no pay. You are not given anything, no motivation. But when you keep on doing it along the line, now you can have some visibility. And when you have visibility, there's possibility that you have every other thing will follow now, because you start having different advantages from right to left. So the first thing is that in life we need a lot of sacrifice first. It's not that somebody who just finished his maybe has an advanced level or degree and you write a concours and you succeed. So you are it's a completely different thing from that. When you want to make a profession and be an entrepreneur of your own self, or you want to be a society leader of yourself, you need a lot of sacrifice. But something just the problem we have in Cameroon is just our educational system. That's the first problem, because I know that one of the major reasons why we have a lot of problem is employment and online in Cameroon, because most of them, when we are going to school, people will just learn about
especially those of us who went to school in the yesteryears.
Yeah, of course. So they don't make things more professional to guide.
Like they were training us to give us a civil servant mentality, because that's apparently what is holding some of the youth down. They cannot lay hand on.
Yeah, that is the issue, because normally, even at the level of the nursery school, when they are bringing up children, there are some certain things that need to enlighten them or guiding them to because so to that knowing very well that will help them in the future. Because I'm today working as a civil society actor, human rights defender. But before I left University of Yaoundé too in SWA, 2013. So we went through the school education at level, advanced level, and up to level of the degree on in law and other level. As a, moreover, as a jurist and studying law, before we had never had any part of it that God was to teach us, tell us that if you want to become an activist or civil society actor or human rights defender, this is what you are supposed to do, this is what you are supposed to do, and this is what you are supposed to know. They just tell you. The only thing is that they want to teach you in such a way that when you come out, you only be a job seeker, you not be a job creator, and that is where our major problem comes from. And the jobs are not even available. We have leaders in power that have decided that sometimes we should be giving each student 50,000 plus every year, saying there's prime the excellence. Instead of using that money now to create jobs for these students now to get them after they must have finished school and be able now to feed their own family and other life. So Cameroon is going through a very tense moment.
And that prime the excellence goes to the majors. People who have upper credit and majors, people who pass well.
No,
is it given to everybody?
It's given to the majority. I think before I left, because this thing started long ago. I think it started 2013. I was given in SWA, but we have more than 12,000. So we cannot talk about majority. We have more than 12,000 that were given that to only in University of Yaoundé in SWA, and up to today they are still giving it. So a very huge sum of money. If they took that money in that period of time up to today, we have created companies all the 10 regions of Cameroon, at least 2 or 3 companies all the 10 regions of Cameroon. Because if you are giving during university,
yes, what happens after university?
Well, the issue after university is that after my university, I went immediately to the somebody was guiding. I went to the bar, to the chamber in Bamenda. I spent since 2018 I was in a law firm in Bamenda. So fortunately for me, the same year I left in the university. I went to the chamber. The bar exam was launched that same year. So I wrote the bar exam. I passed the written part, but unfortunately, I could not succeed on the oral part.
Show us what happens with orals in our country.
Well, no, that one is very clear, because let me be honest, I can say something, because when we are Cameroonians, I went to enlighten Cameroonians and tell them the reality on the ground. Sometimes they say that there are in some professional milieu, there are not corruption or bribery and all like that, which is completely false. To be honest with you, I will tell you that even the president of the bar association by then, who was the head of the jury, actually told me that I should bring the lawyer that I was working in the chamber, come along with the lawyer to his office. So we're all aware. When I came and told the lawyer, she told me that I hope you already have sorted your envelope, because it is very clear. You have no other thing to go there and sit and to go there and give what they want.
You cannot go empty-handed.
That is it. So after that, we have to do. After that now, after the bar exam, we continue there, and later on came to Douala, the chamber here in Douala. So we still continue with that, and the same thing in Douala. I was going about it in Douala, and after that period, from about 1 or 2 years after, they decided now to. I was integrated into this civil society issue or this human rights issue now, and that's when we started it. And things have been going very slow, but slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. At
times,
some youth just leave school. You want to pick a job, especially. Those are the realities in your domain. Our own domain is maybe even the worst. Journalists are one of the most least paid people in the country, but it depends on how you go about. And you cannot just leave school. It's extreme luck for you to leave school. You are recruited and you will have a salary that can, because it's a profession where your take home cannot take you home.
Yes,
your take home cannot take you home. That's why you see some journalists will compromise. Yes, because honestly, I told somebody, I have friends who finished school. I've been practicing for 12 years today, and I have friends who never practiced.
Yes,
like once.
They're always the fortunate ones.
They are like scared, They know when passion keeps you going. I worked without a salary for over a year in the TV station in Yaoundé.
That is the first thing. When you have the passion about what you are doing, you're very certain that you'll make it. No matter how long it will take, you definitely make it.
That is it.
Yes.
So while I was there, I first came I'm doing professional internship, because the same TV organ, I did academic internship. It was just 1 month, because I did 1 month radio, 1 month TV. Then I went back to school. And before going back to school, the boss there was like, I told him I'm going back to school. When I went to school, after school, I had an incident that broke me, so I could not stay home. I said, I will not even stay, let me just go back. So I'll keep myself busy. I went back there. Then I said, I want to do voluntary service. They took me. I did voluntary service for 6 months, 7 months. The third month, the number 8 month, I applied for employment. The man never said a word. He did not say anything. He did not give any feedback. I worked for a year, nothing. Then I made a complete file and traveled to Douala, because the owner of the media organ was here. I came. When the man recruited me, he recruited me because I've worked for a year. He knew me, but he never knew that I was not an employee. The only thing that kept us, when you go to the field, they give per diem.
Yes.
Those tips that will tilt the mind of some journalists to be writing stories in favor of people. If
Yes.
you don't really know what you want to do.
That's what many of
I
journalists
lived
are
on
enriching
per
themselves.
diem for 1 year in a media organ. I was not recruited. So when I came, the boss recruited me and asked me to work in Douala.
Yeah.
Now I'm in Yaoundé. I think I'm already familiar with the environment. I told him, sir, with all due respect, I appreciate the fact that you're suggesting me to come here, but I'll prefer to go back to Yaoundé. Then I'll see how a transfer can be planned. For now, I'm not ready. I went back to Yaoundé. So at times you need to push.
Of course.
You need to push and you need to be determined and focused.
Focus.
Yes.
So one of the highest, the thing I've noticed in the professional milieu is that when you are passionate about your work, you just need to take the patience and be completely impartial and neutral in the way you are in the way you are working. Because most of those in the professional milieu, be it a journalist or even in the civil society or human rights defenders, because there are some human rights defenders that are working with them who are actually working in favor of some people.
They compromise.
Yes, and the other side because they want to make quick money.
Yeah.
And when you make it like that, you easily get lost credibility. And you will not even go far. Because when you are very neutral and impartial in your work, no matter what people tell you, the only thing is that you consider your work is that you will reap it at the end, but you do, and at the end you make it and you make it a grand style. But when you are rushing to have the money, you have the money and they will still frustrate you.
By the time that they don't have, the money does not come, they will not have the motivation to work.
You don't have the motivation to work. The high thing is that when you choose a profession, you just need to be passionate about what you want to do. Yes, you need to be passionate, be resilient, and take your time to do your work well. Don't go and go because you want to satisfy some people, go and write report in favor of people. Because I quite remember that some years back when I was discussing with one of our partners working at Amnesty International at the researcher for West the senior researcher of Amnesty International for West and Central Africa. So he was trying to ask me about some of the security situation we are facing in this part of the country. So they asked me when I explained to him that sometimes we have people who claim to be separatists who try to tap us, give us the name that we are paid agent of the state, and we're working when we denounce the act of the abuse of separatists. And at the same time, some people who claim to be supporters or those working in favor of the government, they will say sometimes when you denounce their own injustice or human rights violation, they will say that no, you are working in favor of separatists. So he told me that I should just stop. And when I stopped, he told me that no, it's very sure now that with the work we are doing a very good job on the field. Because when you are working and doing a good job, you are having attack from the two directions.
Of course.
Yes, but when you are
in the middle.
Or you are now at the middle, because I know you are now at the middle, but when you are not, you have been targeted only on one side, it means that you are impartial on the work you are partial on the work you are doing. Yeah, so
favoring one party.
Favoring one party. So we keep making Cameroonians understand that it takes a lot of time to make it in life. Especially when you don't have somebody like Godfather. Because we're in a country where people live with Godfather issue.
The Godfather syndrome.
So the Godfather syndrome. But apart from that, we need to work extremely hard in order to make it in life. If not, it will be very complicated on your own side. So Cameroonians need to take patience. And the first thing here is that we have to have a focus. You cannot succeed when you don't have a focus. You need to look a particular direction, know that no, this is not the particular direction that I want to go. And you put your mind on it, no matter how hard you will be. You need to take patience and concentrate on what you are doing. At times you reap in a grander style on it. So Cameroonians don't need to just keep relying on keep saying that no, we need to do this, we need to do that, because I must and this type of unemployment issue have been forcing Cameroonians to do terrible things, because when you see some people, many people are now joining so many professions, like teachers. You have seen what I've had in previous years, because we want to have magical, and when you go and have that magical, the next thing is that you go and borrow money and go to Canada. Go and borrow money and travel out of country. You see the minister keep publishing lists of so many teachers that are nowhere to be found. It's because of this kind of thing that people join their work because they don't have that passion. And because you have money now to go and bribe your way in now. You go and bribe your way in, and after now you abandon the work now and go. Those who are really passionate to do that work, they are not able to have that money to go and bribe.
The job becomes like a stepping stone.
Did you see like a stepping stone? That's why people are saying, Cameroon, they keep telling you that no, the most important thing here first is to have a magical. Yeah. You just have the magical. That's the only you have to have the magical. So it became very complicated. Since Cameroonians and some of these citizens are not patriotic, they don't think about the interest of the country, they just think about their personal interest. So they just do what they have to do and go away with it.
We jump and pass.
Yeah,
what I know is that after the rain comes the shine. All right, we'll move to Nigeria with the Punch this morning. The Punch Nigeria, our lone newspaper from the Federal Republic of Nigeria this morning, is carrying as caption Hurricane Tinubu. They say Tinubu mass defections ignite one party state fear. You know, the Nigerian president also is not an easy task. He has told us so many things. As they are preparing for election in 2027, camps are preparing, so he has a strategy. It's like he told them in one newspaper that they should not worry about 2027, they should prepare for 4 years after 2027. Is it 2031? Yes. So now what's happening now is like they are giving the feeling that they want to orientate themselves towards one party. When they talk of this one party, do you think it can be a good system of governance, either for Nigeria for another one party, just one party system?
Well, I think the trend of democracy since in the early 90s has not been behind any African country, and I must applaud the case of Cameroon, Nigeria, compared to other neighboring countries, because at least the situation in Nigeria when it comes to democracy has really been very
evolved.
Evolved. It has been evolving, because you keep saying, because one of the pillars of democracy is a change of power. There should be evolution of power. Power should change, and for the past years we have seen what has happened in Nigeria.
Nigeria has had independence for 65 years. They have had 17 presidents.
You can imagine. Meanwhile, we are still here with the two presidents after more 6 years of independence. So that's why I was saying, because the case of Nigeria is very, very different. So most of, not only Nigeria, but most of these African countries here, especially English countries, yes, Anglo-Saxon countries, their own cases are always very different compared to the French part of French countries. So I think this way in Nigeria, it's not possible to go back to the one-party system, the democratic. If we do on the democracy, they need to look for ways of ameliorating the democracy, because democracy is a process. So they need to keep changing things gradually. So I think the case of Nigeria, at least we are praying that we have a change in leadership in our own country, as what we have been witnessing in Nigeria. It should not be a situation where one man will sit in power and just say that, no, I am Cameroon and Cameroon is me.
All right, so we move over to the Republic of Cameroon, where almost all the newspapers have caption related to one story. That's their opposed elections period in Cameroon. We all know that Cameroonians went to the polls on the 12th of October to cast their votes for who they want to see govern the country for the next 7 years. So this morning, the Champion newspaper, which is the first newspaper we are touching in Cameroon, has listed a couple of things with their caption carrying this morning. They say, ahead of a proclamation of October 12 polls results, CPDM hyper-rigging machinery for decades exposed. The report says that they say pre-proclamation of results without doctoring will not set Cameroon on fire. Prominent CPDM supporter in Ginicom resigns and has given a list of reasons why he has resigned. So let's look at the period as in general before coming to talk on precise items on here. How have you observed the period after election? How has it been? Does it ignite fear when you watch at what is happening for these few days?
Well, let me first of all say here that our organization, Concerns African, in partnership with other organizations, have been working. We are working to monitor and document the cases of human rights violation before, within, and after the election. So even during the election day, we have our collaborators who work in collaboration with them to observe the election throughout the national territory. Yeah, so that's the reason why 2 days ago we came out with a press release, a statement, preliminary statement of to tell Cameroonians or to tell the national and international community of what our observers observed in the ground on the day of the election.
So what was the human rights situation like on the day of election? From your reports, from what you gathered?
Well, permit me to say first of all here that particularly in a place like in the Anglophone region of Cameroon, our contact persons or the observers who were down there, because normally we didn't have even though there are a number of observers that we a number of people that will get the Minister of Territorial Administration to give accreditation or give them badges to permit them to observe election. Very few number of people were accepted. The other ones were rejected for no tangible reason. But we still have to discuss with some of our collaborators or contact persons on the ground so that they can just act like what we call citizen observers. When you after voting, you have to stay there and observe their vote to give us exactly the situation on the ground. So I will tell you that the first thing is that it went hitch-free in the northwest and southwest of Cameroon, because on that day, we recorded that according to the best of our sources on the ground, no major incident was recorded in the northwest and southwest of Cameroon, even though the separatists had initially warned against for anyone who dare try to go and vote. So in places like in town, like in Bamenda, in Buya, in Libya, also what happened where the vote went on hitch-free. But in other places, like in Gotuja division, Boyo and other, like sometimes gunshot were like in Babisi subdivision where most of the area were camped there, gunshot were hit. But
it was just to scare
people from going out, because before then they have already declared about 5 weeks lockdown only because of the election. So federally nobody went out, and the shocking news the issue there is that after talking to more than 50 people within the different villages in the Gotuja division, we learned that actually election took place in some part of the Indop Central where they have to program their make election. But at the end, we discovered that Indop Central Babisi subdivision, as a head of the subdivision in which is Babisi, when the result came out, and we were very shocked to hear that the villages like in Baba Awan, Bangulan, Bambalang, Balinkumbat, Bamesing, Bangulan, Babungo, where we have talked with people on the ground, we discovered that where no election took place in this place, but we have seen credible results coming out from there. And the funny thing is that I talked with some of credible people on the ground, and they made me to understand that even well, normally when I saw the result, I just thought that no, this after and I talked with this man, they said no, everybody was indoor. Even with this gunshot we are telling you about, we were only in the house hearing gunshot. We don't even know what was happening, what was going on outside. But at the end, in a village like in Baba Awan, in my village where I come from, we see a result coming out about they talk almost 2,000 people who voted. And when I tried to find out from some former MPs and some mayor who have been working in this area about the statistics for the past years, even before the election, because to me I thought that maybe it was just the last 2011 presidential election that went and copied and pasted. But they made me to understand that even within the period where the Northwest and Southwest Cameroon were living peacefully, they have never had that number of people voted at that level in this village. Even in Okusha division, the statistics they are giving there now, they are giving for that is for those who voted even before the election, before the conflict in North and South region, the number has never gotten that up to that level. Just to tell you that
now that people have migrated,
and very few, no one even went out. Even the few that are there, no one had that courage to go out and go out and even vote. But they are bring out the kind of results. Just to tell you that some of these our political leaders or our political elites they don't have shame at all, no dignity, no respect for their own people. At least sometimes we have problem in Cameroon. People are unable to resolve this problem because our people, our elites, they don't want to speak the truth. We want to do everything possible to conserve their power because they know that if sometimes they're masquerade because they know that maybe if they tell these people the truth, the thing that's coming will be a completely different thing. So these things have been it has been terrible. Apart from that, we have some irregularities that were equally recorded concerning the list in Bamenda in particular. So many people even registered on the electoral list. It's fortunate that when they went there, they never found their name on the list. So it had to cause a lot of problems, and they were delayed in opening some of the polling. They were delayed in opening some of the polling stations, and so on and so forth. So in some cases, we learned that some people were being threatened to vote. To put a particular party. So those are some of the foreign things. But at least there are some the overall preparation for the result for the election. I think it was perfect. Yeah, they did the elections did a very perfect job to ensure that the preparation everything went or goes on well and all the like. So, but the only problem now is because of the masquerade. It's the kind of funny result. You see, the civilian man who just resigned from in Fundong in Bello. Because of what the person saw. So there are still some honest elites. There are some citizens that are still honest because most of this majority of these are civilian people. They have lost credibility, they have lost conscience completely at all. They don't have any dignity for themselves. At least even if you are stealing a vote, at least you do it in a way that will make some sense. Sometimes maybe they would have tell us that maybe while the population were indoor, we brought some people from some other villages that they have been doing very few to come and vote, but not by saying that they had one more 2,000, this one 3,000, this one. So it's very funny. Look at a village equally a village like in Bambalang village in the Okusha division in northwest of Cameroon, which is a fear of separatists, where the popular nobility came from, because that is the only village where you have a lot of soldiers that are working there, Amba boys that are there. We see they are trying to tell you that almost 4,000 people voted there, and those are the worst villages. Even by
the population itself, I'm not sure the population. If you gather the whole village,
they will not be up to that amount. Even total population, not to talk about those who registered for the vote. So it's too terrible. At least this is not the kind of thing we are expecting for Cameroonians. So I think we have gone past the days when people were able to lie, because sometimes our people are afraid, because this thing has been said by elite, because they know that these are influential elite in this village. People are afraid to come out and talk. So it's very ridiculous. If we keep accepting this kind of thing, it means that we are not doing good for Cameroon. We are instead hurting ourselves and hurting our own country. At least the interest of our country should prevail before any other thing. So we should keep aside personal interest and look about the state of the country.
Yes, at a certain point. Yes, we are still dissecting the election and the post-election period. So I want us to look at the polling stations. I observed something. People came. The counting was practically done in dark halls. People were using torchlights. And some people, there are areas where somebody came with a lampard there from his house. What is this all about? Almost everywhere. Does it mean that it looks like an intentional act to carry polling stations and put where there was no electricity, knowing that the exercise will go through to make darkness?
Well, I cannot say certainly what actually happened, but I know that I may say that maybe that one may have been some of the setbacks or poor preparation from election, because normally when you are preparing a voting station, or places that were also polling station are also found, they need to do everything possible to ensure that we have lighting. You know that most of the things were done either in schools or some of these public places, and most of these places, some of these schools, since the schools always goes on in the afternoon, they don't have lights. So they were supposed now to make preparation and ensure that we have light in these places all the time, in order to make sure that we don't have any problem. Keep up everywhere. And in places like in North and South Cameroon, we don't even have to talk about it, because sometimes they go 2 months without electricity. Yeah, so since the conflict started, even places, there are a lot of places have been in darkness almost all the time because they don't have those who are working on solar, they are afraid to go and arrange things because they are afraid that they can be kidnapped by separatists
I know it's
and so on and so forth.
but who has resigned because what happened to him is not a story to tell.
That is the issue because I've recorded so many cases like this. When sometimes you go to arrange something, they will kidnap you after you're asking for heavy ransom that the family have to pay this particular amount before you are released. So those are the kind of things that in the northwest and southwest of Cameroon, the problem is a very systematic issue. So the issue of lighting has been a very big problem. So it's only within the French part of the country that I'm even shocked that we were still unable to have lighting. Where we have light, the issue there is that we actually have light in other places, but at the polling station there were no light. So I think that was a mistake from Eleka because cannot be perfect. There are always there's always some small little things that you will not be able to do it well. Of course, that's the reason why whenever we observe election, after the election we to come out with recommendations. Yes, like this thing so that they can be able to ameliorate it next time. So know that next time they should do everything possible to ensure that they are lightening. They put light where there's no light and all light. They have to put light in all these places to ensure that these things goes well without any problem.
So now let's look at not voter turnouts, but the watchmanship, the way in which Cameroonian citizens voted, went back home, came back to the polling station, camped there to watch the vote counting. It's something I've never seen. In 2018, I'm not sure I saw this. So do you think that it's some kind of reawakening in the conscience of Cameroonians that after voting you need to come and watch to see how your polling station did, that your vote counted after all?
Well, as those of us of the media, either those of the media or those of us civil society actors, equally have a role advocacy that we are playing before. As I said before, we are playing this role before, during and after election. Normally, we encourage Cameroonians at the beginning to do everything possible to ensure that their names are on the electoral list by registering on the vote. Yes, after they registered and we now started calling on them to go and withdraw their card. And before the day of election, we keep encouraging Cameroonians that it is important to vote, and it is more important to observe their votes.
That is it.
So because when you vote, you observe your vote to ensure that your voice counts. Because if you don't observe your vote, you should not complain. Because when you don't vote, you are even giving advantage to those you are against them. Those who think that they are spoiling the country, they have done it, they have done that. Because voting is a right, and that's right. Because when you do it, it is very, very important. When you abstain from voting, means you are indirectly voting. You are indirectly voting those that are the same people that are complaining about them in power. So we have to continuously tell Cameroonians that when you vote, make sure that you observe your vote to ensure that your voice counts. That's the reason why sometimes you are seeing Cameroonians, and sometimes because of ignorance, many people were not aware of this. They never knew that you have the right to stay back there and at your own polling station to ensure that where you voted, you have to go and join the people to count the election. These things to ensure that this is what happened at my own place where I voted. There was this number of people for this one voted for this one. At the end, the result was like there was result like that. So that is the issue there, and because of some of these things, I've been seeing people saying that
this year has been like an eye-opener year for Cameroonians.
No, this one has been an eye-opener because of the role we have been playing, and equally the role of the media have been playing to enlighten Cameroonians. Because sometimes some of these things are being done out of ignorance. So Cameroonians, I think now Cameroonians are more enlightened now than ever before. That's the reason why you are seeing people agitating, saying that no, they should ensure that our vote counts.
It counts. All right. There's another thing I want to say. The youth population that turn out to vote. Before we used to know a voter party. You used to like, okay, we know the results beforehand. Why should I vote? Why should I? But on the contrary, because we kept here, do not vote, register, go collect your card and ensure that you vote. The number of youths, the way the youth came out this time to vote is something that is different. So what can you tell the Cameroonian youth for the fact that they came out massively? Because we constitute the majority of the population.
So the first thing here we can telling Cameroonian youth is that the future actually belongs to the youth. So this is a kind of propaganda that we have ever seen where they keep telling us that the future belongs to the youth. Meanwhile, we have people that the same people that are hung in power. They are not giving any opportunity to the youth. This youth to have a say in the country. That's the reason why they said the youth should go and register. After they should go and vote. After voting, they should observe their vote. And if at the end your vote is not considered, then you have the right to protest it. But saying that this protest will be peaceful protest, they have the right now to claim their victory. Because there is something people are going out saying. I watched some programs or some of the write-up or the publication on social media. When I saw someone, a journalist whom I consider to be a senior journalist, or for that matter, an experienced journalist, saying that the destiny of Cameroon lies on the hand of the president of the Constitutional Council. I just laughed. I said, no, this one is not normal for somebody who is enlightened. The truth there is that the president of the Constitutional Council is coming to declare the
Just
result.
to declare, to
And when
read
we
what has
talk
been
about
given.
declaring result, you should understand that they should understand that when you are in school, you are right and you write your exam. After that, they will give you your papers. When they
course.
give your papers,
You know if
you
you've
take the
passed
papers, you know if you are passed,
or you
which you are
failed.
passed, how many average you have, or you are failed. So it's just left now for the closing date of
Yeah.
the school, whether the first term or the third
Yeah.
term, for the teacher to come now and read
Make
the
it
result,
public.
make it public. And what is making it public is what you already have it on your hand. It's the same thing like this vote. When you go and vote, people have their papers and what happened at the polling station.
Yeah.
At the end, if you see that your result is not the way you expected, you complain. You have to complain. You have to complain. You have the right to complain. And that the only thing is that we keep calling on citizens to complain using a very peaceful means, because as I said here that I'm working in the what has to do with the conflict in the northwest and southern Cameroon. We have kept terrible stories. We have seen terrible things. So Cameroon should do everything possible now to ensure that peace reign in Cameroon, to avoid any form of violence, because violence is not has never been any suitable response to any form of injustice. Because when you use violence, don't forget that as you are applying violence, you either be a victim, your family member or any other close relative will be a victim of it. So that's the reason why we keep telling Cameroon to do everything possible to avoid violence. While on the side of the authority, we keep telling the authority to do everything possible to ensure that the will of the people prevails, to ensure that whatever the people decided should be respected. And in times like this, because we are in a very fragile condition right now in Cameroon, in times like this, I think there are a lot of things that need to be done. Even when the authorities are addressing the population, they should have to do it in a very polite way. They use very, very low tune, very convincing way of talking to the people.
They come and shout and bully.
Come and shout and bully, which is the wrong strategy. But that's why I said here that our authorities keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Because what they did in the northwest and southern region of Cameroon, when the people started they started threatening people, they started kidnapping, arresting, and detaining, and it instead radicalized the population. And that's the reason why I keep saying that we should do everything possible now to avoid this same thing from happening. And for this to happen, the authority, let me say, for example, here that like the current minister of territorial administration we have in Cameroon, if Cameroon, the government of Cameroon wants this country to remain in peace, the first thing they have to do now is to withdraw parole from him. They should avoid, or they should censor any information that is coming from the Ministry of Territorial Administration. Because I don't know if it's all way of talking. Because it is true that there are some people that it's not everybody. That's what I've always. That's their body is always hot when they want to talk. And sometimes because of that pressure, of that emotion, and all the like, you end up instead inflicting more pains or more wounds on the injury that is already existing. So that's why I'm suggesting to the government bench of Cameroon to do everything possible at this moment now to ensure that everything that communication that is coming from the Ministry of Territorial Administration is censored. Either it is censored or they should not allow him to publish anything again. You look at somebody like your ministry, your Minister of Communication, Minister Emmanuel Sadi, very, very diplomatic and with very convincing word and very what that appeals things in the country. So at this moment in time, whenever there's a sort of conflict, the language should be completely different. The usual language we are using, we avoid it. And whenever there's a situation, we should make sure that we respect the citizens. They are there because of Cameroonians. And whatsoever they are doing for the interest of Cameroon. So they should ensure that the voice, whatsoever decision the people took on October 12th should be respected. And avoid anything that will bring and call on the Cameroonian youth that no politician should force you or to deceive you into going out there to make violence. Because some of these people, sometimes they have sent their own children abroad. When they are going out, you don't even see any of their children there. So ensure that whenever there's anything that has to do with violence, you should not be part of it. But Cameroonians should make sure that, as I said, they have the right to peacefully go outside there and say that no, we are not satisfied with this thing. And in our own area, this is how the result was, and this is how the result was, and it was these people who won. And we have joined all this result. Yes, because I heard another minister coming out to say that this minister Isa Shuruma, in 2 days' time, you don't know the magic that Mr. Isa Shuruma used to tell them that how they have the result. So I don't understand. It's the same thing I was citing the example of a classroom teacher or a student in class who already know the result before the date of the result, because they have given you your paper as a result and you have calculated and you know that no, this is where I stand and this I'm the first, I'm the second, I'm the majority. It's very normal. So, but the only thing is that we should avoid violence, side of violence. Whatsoever we are doing, we should avoid the violence. Violence is not the right thing.
Make your point without engaging.
That's why we said that the authorities should respect the right of citizens. Meanwhile, the citizens should also and do everything possible. There are limits, and we all have responsibilities. Our citizens will have our own rights as well as we have responsibilities. We have the responsibility to protect the institution. We don't have to destroy, because what I saw the other day in Chang.
I was coming to that.
What I saw the other day in Chang is very condemnable. It's not acceptable.
It has hovered from Douala, Bonamusadi, to Chang, to Bafusam, to Garwa. And Limbe, but that of Limbe was not bad. It just
because there was actually no destruction.
Yeah, there was no destruction. I wanted to say because in Chang it has casualties.
It has casualties.
Part of the court burnt,
Burnt.
and you have the CPDM party
Party hall.
house. You have 2 trucks burnt. The
Even the-
council.
Yeah.
So
The residents
yeah,
of the
the
rector
resident of the rector.
Mhm,
Thank God that
yes.
they intervened before time.
Mhm.
In as much as we want to stand for the truth, that
Okay.
it should not be what I ordered versus what I got. Yeah, we should have what we ordered. You order
Yeah.
pizzas should be served.
Yes.
But ask for your pizza in a responsible,
In a responsible way.
manner.
So
Yes,
we
ask
need
for your
to do
pizza
everything
in a
possible
responsible manner.
to protect our own country. So that's why the reason why I said that we're condemning in strongest terms any form of violence that have already been perpetrated by some of these people, while calling on the young Cameroonians who are patriotic to shun away from the side of violence. Don't allow politicians to use you to cause chaos, because at the end you'll be the loser. You have to go. You say that you need change. You cannot have that change when you are going to fight for. You are going to burn houses or
Yes.
burning the party house or burning the court. It will not solve the problem. So what we have to do is that if you are not happy with whatsoever happened in your own area, you think that it's not the right thing, then maybe the result have been falsified or whatsoever thing, you need to come out peacefully and denounce it. Say that no, this is what happened, this is what happened, I already have the result and we are not happy with this, and everything should be changed. And even the leaders of these political parties in some of this region, that they should not accept that they should be intimidated. They should be intimidated or threatened for them to accept, because we already learned that there are some of them that were being coerced into accepting fake results, which is not the same thing that they have at their hands.
That's why you saw the riot in Douala.
Exactly. There was equally a proposition I thought that it was very important to make here, because somebody like the SDF of the Joshua Osei, Honorable Joshua Osei, they said that they have their observers or their representative in almost all the entire part of almost all more than 30,000 plus polling stations in the country. So, and I thought that it's very important. It's very important for the SDF to come out maybe and tell Cameroonians what they have as in their result sheet, especially if at the end what is proclaimed at the Constitutional Council is not what the people are expecting. Because if the SDF says that they already have a representative in the entire part of Cameroon, I think it's the right time now for SDF to come out now to say it as other people have already said. Because you have some political party leaders or some other candidate of the past election who have already come out clearly to say that no, to the base of their own knowledge, for what they have gathered so far, it was Mr. Isa Chiroma Bakare who won. So that's what they are saying. But others are saying that no, it is the contrary, the CBTM. While others are remaining neutral. Somebody like Barrister Akiremuna, he came out very clear and said that the party of Mr. Chiroma won.
Yes.
So that's why we're saying that
the pages that people have shown.
Yeah, so I think that's the reason why we're saying that even though before the election we're calling on the opposition parties to unite together and make form one voice, to form out one voice.
They have
never been united. So this time around, after this election result now, the highest time now they have to unite, because if they unite now together to say the truth the way it is, avoid from taking bribe, because we know that the current system, they are good in giving bribe to people. They will have to coerce, sometimes threaten you and force you to accept bribe and say the contrary. You don't say the truth again. But when you are saying the contrary, you are accepting to take money and eat and to say the contrary, you are instead destroy the country. The same country that you say you wanted to fight to protect the country, you are instead destroying the country. So I think the opposition to come out together, go together and make sure that they speak the truth to Cameroonians and tell Cameroonians what is supposed to be done and guide people to the right direction, because everybody, I think, especially Cameroonians, everybody wants change. Even sometimes those in power, so that they keep saying that they want change, but it is very ridiculous. Now in Cameroon, I have been very shocked. You see the nature of the country, you will be ashamed of your own country. Look at the route network. The terrible situation. Sometimes you are traveling to Yaoundé, you have to spend more than 8 or 10 hours on the way because of the route. In Douala, the situation is the same everywhere. Bamenda, Douala, Bausam, Douala, Bamenda, the same thing. So at least I'm telling Cameroonians we need change, but that change will come through a peaceful way, and a democratic way, and not through violence. So that is what we keep insisting, keep telling Cameroonians that no, they should do everything, because peace is priceless. So we should do everything possible to protect the peace of this country.
Yeah, you know, the Guardian Post this morning is talking about October 12 polls, 11 petitions at Constitutional Council. When we see 11 petitions at Constitutional Council, we know out of this, everybody is not from a political party. Cameroonians themselves have presented their petitions, but we have some members of the opposition party who have their. But what is intriguing is the is it NFSC, the Children's Party? Yes, they have said they will not, for any reason, submit any petition at the Constitutional Council, because they know the results that will come from the Constitutional Council. What do you think about that? Do you think it might be a wrong move? Or it's because they are sure of what they have? You know, there's one thing that the Minister of Territorial Administration kept saying, that it's only the CPDM that have representative in all the polling stations in Cameroon. Maybe he stood on the path that other political parties don't have representative, but it's not like the match that was said to be between Real Madrid and
And
Sport, the supporters decided to enter the field to be the watchdog because, like, you do not have a representative anywhere, but the population stands to watch.
Yes, of
So,
course.
do you think the decision by the party to say I'm not going to submit any petition is because they are sure of what they have at hand from the results they have gathered from the players and feedback from those who stood for them is what is guiding them?
Well, let me say first of all here that the first thing they, as Ryan said, is that the party of Minister Chorwa Bakari, they already have their results.
Yes.
The result, according to them, that they got from the polling station, from their representative who were there, already have their result, and they think that from what they have gathered so far, they are winner. They are the winner. So they don't have any problem, even though we have seen a lot of things that have happened in the voting, from rigging, from adding additional ballot box,
and from
and all the like.
Changing results,
process
like
so
held in Chang.
Yeah, so if they think that they have their proof to show that they have already win, and there is no need for them to appeal for the Constitutional Council, then it's for them, because it's true that the Cameroon is a state of law, but sometimes even some of these institutions they only work in favor in the objectivity. They work for
they don't bite the finger that fits you.
We have all seen what happened with the case of Professor Maurice Kamto, which we all know that was unjustly sidelined because of this thing. Well, they unjustly sidelined Professor Maurice Kamto as the Constitutional Council because they knew very true. Well, this is such remarkable. Maybe it's such remarkable to believe that if they go there now, these people will able now to use that opportunity now to say that no, even they have already falsified this result. I'll give you a wrong result, and they think that no, this thing, if we go there now, no. Anyway, they say they will not go there because they already have the result. They already have proof that they are win. So if they at the end the result is proclaimed, and what is they will see is not what they already have in front of them, then it means that people are falsified, and something is wrong somewhere. As I rightly said here, when you have your result of your different subjects already with you, you have the result of different subjects at your hand. I already know that on the day of the proclamation of the result or the closing date, this is what I will have 10 average, I'll have 11 average, I'll have 12 average because this one I had this course, I had this and all that. You have already calculated everything and you know the truth. So they will not need now to be saying that you have to go and appeal, that they should correct something when you already have your result at your hand. Except now that at the end you don't see the right result. The publication now is not the right result. Say no, you have to write a receipt. Yes, you have to write a receipt in such case to say that no.
Recaits can be nightmares. I remember my receipt in the university. I repeated another year because of receipt for myself. No,
it's not easy at times. No, even though in some universities are not always the same, but the others, like here in the University of Douala here, because University of Douala here is a very complicated situation because when you write a receipt, sometimes they take time to mark all the entire scheme of students and bring out the results. Sometimes they take more than at least about 1 week to mark the thing and publish the result. We write a field exam on Monday, and the next morning you have your result. But you write a receipt only for a few students. Write a receipt, and the receipt sometimes will stay even for more than 1 month, even up to 2 months. You see waiting for the receipt. So sometimes it's very complicated. We need to ameliorate some of these things for the interest of Cameroon because it makes students very frustrated.
Recaits are nightmares. All right. So there's something I want to say. You see the way, when we talk election, we talk territorial administration automatically. That's why you see Grant and go so involved in this thing.
Yeah.
But to a certain point, some opinion hold it that it's because of panic. They didn't see this coming. It's like the regime in place panics. The result they have gotten from the field, the attitude of Cameroonians, the presence of Cameroonians, and the previous, the way that people insisted everywhere, people start incidents here and there, is causing Ghana and Tango to be under some kind of pressure and panic. That's why. Should there be any reason why the regime in place should panic?
Well, but normally when you are in power and you are expecting to continue your mandate, and if you see things not going the way you initially planned it to be, it's very normal for you to panic. But when it comes to the threat and the intimidations that we're getting, that has been a normal thing for the regime in place. We are all aware that the current minister of the electoral administration and so other people, some of his collaborators or members of the government have been using intimidating way or threats to silence or Cameroonians and to shut up citizens from freely expressing themselves. So I think the behavior, their modus operandi is normal. So I don't think there's something strange about it, but it's very normal that when you are in power and you're still trying to conserve that power, and after maybe an election as such, you start saying things not going the way you planned. So it's very normal for you to panic. Yeah, exactly. It's a very normal thing.
All right. So with the last thing we want to talk about here is the MinSante, the Ministry of Health, that has announced 5 cases of COVID-19. You see, in Cameroon and some regions are concerned. Does it make you feel excited? Because when I hear COVID-19, it echoes in my head like it can give me an automatic ache. COVID-19.
COVID-19 has been a very, very serious pandemic that dealt with the whole world and Cameroon and equally Cameroonians. COVID-19 since 2019 and all like so they call it COVID-19.
Yeah.
And when you say COVID-19, the first thing that came into my mind was what we are commonly heard today as COVID gates. Yeah, because we're in a country where there's no little or no accountability.
Yeah.
Where the money that were meant to fight this pandemic has completely disappeared, and they are nowhere to be found. Siphoned by some of our leaders, and nobody saying anything about it. Sometimes when you go out to denounce some of these things now, you are being regarded upon as a threat to the citizens. Because there's no leadership without accountability. If you are unable to account to your people, then that's a very big problem, and this one will not push our country forward. So that's the reason why I think if there is COVID-19 now,
take precautions.
To take precautions and make sure that at least we avoid some certain things. So a lot of things. We know that with that, what even self Cameroonians is what some of these traditional medicine that we discover by some of our traditional practitioners. Yeah, because those are the sort of things that actually help Cameroon. Even though in some countries the situation was not really an easy one, but thank God that our ancestors are always alive to ensure that Cameroonians are safe.
All right, Amadi Tante, we have exhausted our time. I wish we could stay here and talk on and on some more. But I want to believe that you still create time some other time to come and visit us. So if you have to look straight into your camera and talk to Cameroonians, we await the proclamation or the official reading of our results of the October polls. What will you be telling Cameroonians?
Yeah, dear Cameroonians, I think we have come to a decisive moment in our life, or the life of our nation, Cameroon, and we need to tell Cameroonians that Cameroonians should always ensure or stand to defend their defend their votes or defend the outcome of the result or whatsoever they know that is the right thing or what they have done. But Cameroonians should respect institutions, should respect state institutions, because these institutions does not belong to our leaders, the current ministers and directors. They belong to us, Cameroon. And whatsoever we are doing, we will too suffer the effects of what we are doing. So I call on Cameroonians to remain steadfast, remain calm, and wait for the 26th October proclamation of the result. Because we need to be patriotic citizens, and we need to work as a jurist, I would say, in respect of the law and the principle of the law. And that is the same reason why we are saying that Cameroonian, citizens need to respect the law. Meanwhile, the authorities too need to ensure that the law is enforced, ensure that they do the right thing, and ensure that when somebody decides on something, or when if the people have decided on something, even whether it was in favor of this or in favor of that, based on the proof that is on the ground, they should do it the right way to avoid any funny things. Because with the way things are going in this country now, with the fear that anything negative can happen to Cameroon, but I keep calling on Cameroonian youth to remain very vigilant. Avoid following any form of going about any form of violence, or following any politician or whosoever is igniting you or calling you to go out and burn houses. Because I've already seen some Cameroonians who, especially those in diaspora, who are saying that people should burn places. Those things are not what they will not bring any solution to the problem we have in Cameroon. We have a problem. We use a genuine way or a peaceful way of addressing these things, and not through violence, because violence has never been a suitable response to any form of injustice or whatsoever. Because if Cameroonians are not okay with the outcome of the result, when it must have come out now, you can peacefully protest and to denounce it, to say that no, this is what has come out is not what we have as proof and on our hand, based on our foot and all the leg and all the so, but not through violence. We should do everything possible, but avoid the side of violence, because we are still living the consequences of what is going on in the northwest and south region of Cameroon for almost 10 years today. So let's do everything possible to protect the integrity of our country, Cameroon.
All right, once more, thank you, Sir Tante. I want to say this is how we saw it on today's edition of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being steadfast, for being patient with us, and seeing to it that this program came to light today. We have had some hurdles, but thank God that finally we didn't keep you wasting your time today. Thank you for your faithfulness, and thank you for always being there. It gladdens our heart to always know that you are scotched in front of your TV screens, in front of your YouTube channels, in front of your YouTube pages and Facebook pages, even in your office, to watch, give us your comments, and of course see how we can make the program get better. I want to say thank you to Adrian, who braves the greater odds this morning to be here. I want to say, Adrian, thank you for your effort and for these beautiful images you've given us this afternoon. Today is a Friday, it's a weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from our guest. In as much as we are anxiously waiting for the official proclamation of October 12 post results come October 26th, we should exercise restraint, stay focused, be civilized, And in whatsoever thing you do, avoid violence. Violence will never be an option. And it is on this note that we call it quits for today's edition of the program. We say until we come your way on Monday, stay blessed and have a beautiful weekend in the company of upcoming programs. For the World Global Insight will be yours at 4 p.m. with Clarice Wideoven. Bye bye.